NASCAR heads north to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Magic Mile. I am joined by Ryan Stevens of Win the Race, as per usual. Ryan, it's great to see you. Let's start with Team Penske, because over this recent short track stretch, Penske is doing Penske things. Logano, Blaney, Cindric, and Josh Berry, for that matter, all showed top 5 speed at Richmond last Saturday night. Logano has 2 wins in the last 4 races. Blaney's the defending New Hampshire winner, for goodness sake. So let's just start there, Ryan. How would you judge or rank the 4 Penske/Wood Brothers entries heading into this weekend?
Well, the first thing I do is I'll do what I've been doing, because we've been talking about these tracks for a while now. Pull a few different data sets based on the track comparison tool on Win the Race. So the first one would be those tracks listed as useful and relevant on there for 2025, 2026. It ends up being 15 races. Blaney and Logano have combined for 6 wins in those 15 races. They're first and fourth in average finish, first and third in average running position. Only 8 drivers have top 10s in over half those races. Blaney and Logano, of course, but then Josh Berry as well, 8 top 10s in those 15 races. And then I pulled one just looking 2026 only. And if you use the useful and relevant section of that, it gives you 6 races. Blaney and Logano have won 3 of those 6 races this year, fourth and fifth in average finish, first and third in average running position. Only Blaney and Logano have won top 4 3 times each. So, they've been the cream of the crop here. And only 10 drivers here have top 10s in over half those races. Blaney and Logano are in there. But then again, Josh Berry with 3 top 10s in those 6 races. So I'd rank them, Blaney and Logano 1, 2, and they're an elite tier of 4 drivers. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of them in a little bit here. Then Berry, then Cindric.
Okay, Berry over Cindric. That makes sense, because I did want to spotlight Josh Berry kind of just especially here, because I should have mentioned he ran second at New Hampshire 1 season ago, looked really, really strong in that race. He's got momentum coming into this one, and we know he's still looking for a ride, still trying to confirm his 2027 plan, so he's motivated. How impressive, I'll put it like this, how impressive has Josh Berry been the last few weeks? And, you talk about having him close to that top 4, the elite tier. Like, how big of a threat is he to actually win Sunday's race and play the ultimate spoiler?
I know some people are betting that to happen. And we called this great run last week. And, Win the Race had a nice week because of Josh Berry. And so I guess he's pretty live, heading into what's his best Cup Series track. It's kind of weird. Like, he would qualify well here in Xfinity, but was never dominant here. And then you get to the Cup Series, and with 2 different teams, he's never finished a stage or race outside the top 10. So, yeah, we talked about how great those 2 Penske drivers are here. And then this is the affiliate team coming to what's been his best Cup Series track. I'd say he's pretty live.
Interesting. I didn't know you'd finish top 10 at every stage. That's a heck of a stat. That's hard to do. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're racing. Well, let's shift gears. Let's talk Toyota now. Christopher Bell looking for redemption. 7 second-place finishes this season alone, but 0 wins on his record thus far. But we head to New Hampshire, where in the O'Reilly Series, Christopher Bell's batting 1,000. 4 wins in 4 starts, a perfect score. He's got a couple of Cup Series wins here as well. Is Christopher Bell the top Toyota to watch on Sunday, or is he too snake-bit to consider that? What do you think, Ryan?
No, I do think Christopher Bell is the Toyota to watch this week. In the larger sample set I just mentioned, he's 3rd in average finish, 4th in average running position. He's one of only 5 guys who have double-digit top 10s in those 15 races. Then you jump to this year and focus more on that data set. He's 2nd in average finish and 4th in average running position. Only 4 drivers have top 3s in at least half those races. Logano, who we talked about, then Christopher Bell we're talking about now, and then he's joined by Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin, his 2 teammates there. So I'd say, there are more Toyotas to look at, but Christopher Bell will be my main man here. And he's finished 2nd on multiple comparable tracks this year. So I do think, if there's a place to go, you mentioned how good he is here in both Xfinity back in the day and Cup now with multiple wins here. Yeah, I think this is the place he could finally get it done.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. There are certainly several Toyotas that will be a factor, but I wanted to pick out one. Christopher Bell, New Hampshire, feels like that made the most sense. Then let's talk Hendrick. Let's talk the top Chevys. They maybe found a little something at Richmond Saturday night. All four Hendrick cars finished inside the top 10. Larson at New Hampshire specifically has been good in recent years. He has a third, a fourth, and a seventh recently. Byron and Chase Elliott scored top fives here a year ago. Hendrick only has 2 wins on this season. Guys like Larson, Byron trying to break through. Do you think Hendrick Motorsports, are they a top 5 contender this weekend, or are they more like a top 10 threat? How do you feel about their speed based on what you've seen?
Well, for them, I'll focus more on the data set from this year because this year there is, that narrative where it's like they cannot win. And perhaps that's right. Like Elliott did win on a shorter flat track in 2026, but it was strategy based, to get that track position, but he did hold on to it. I think they're above average and doing, I guess, just fine, even though they're not doing what we might have expected entering the year. But in that sample set of 6 races, Elliott, Byron, Larson, seventh, eighth, and 10th in average finish. So again, above average, they're there, top 10, teams. They're also hovering around that in average running position in that same sample set. So they're not always strategy fluky type finishes. They are, I'd say top 10, probably not top 5. At Loudon specifically, Kyle Larson's been the most consistent performer of the bunch. 5 races with Hendrick, he's finished outside the top 7 once. And in that race, he finished third and fifth in the stages. He's actually never finished outside the top 7 in stage 2 in any of the races. So he's always kind of there, toward the end of these races. So yeah, I'll say they're a top 10 contender based on everything I just said, where JGR and Penske are largely sucking up, that top 5.
Makes sense. Yeah, that passes the smell test heading into this weekend. Ryan, let's back up a little bit here, back up in the standings, I should say, and focus in on the Chase bubble. It's pretty spread out now with just 2 races to go, but there are 2 drivers I'd like to zero in on. 16th, Shane Van Gisbergen, and 17th, Ryan Preece. I'm kind of out on Ryan Preece. Otherwise, I would have come into this weekend saying, hey, here's a great opportunity to make up points, but I feel like I've said that 2 or 3 weeks in a row now, and Preece is largely underwhelmed. Frankly, all of RFK racing, I think, has disappointed both of us at these recent short track races. Even when they qualified good last week, they couldn't hold their track position for long. But SVG's also struggled at some of these short. Like Richmond, he wasn't really that good. He wasn't a factor last weekend either. So I guess I'll put it like this. Ryan Preece needs to make up probably 10, 15, 20 points to even have a realistic shot heading to Daytona. How likely is that scenario? Well, what is the world where Ryan Preece takes a bite out of SVG's points gap?
Based on what we've been seeing, I don't think it's very likely. I mean, I thought SVG was great at New Hampshire last year. The end result was not indicative of how he raced. Finished stage 1 inside the top 10, was running near there when trouble struck and ruined his day. And during the race, I watched it back. You see him making passes, looking comfortable early on, and then we've seen the definite improvement from him on this track type in 2026. In that, smaller sample set I'm looking at of this year only, 9th best average finish in that sample set for SVG. Wow. So, Preece isn't too far behind there. He's, I think, 12th or 13th best in average finish there, but SVG is still, a little better, and SVG's had more upside. I think he has, 1 or like 2 top 5s in that sample set as well, where Preece has none. So, yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Preece to gain that ground on SVG this week.
We've seen Ross run near in the top 10 the last few weeks. Maybe Trackhouse, since the final off weekend, has maybe found a little something to wrap up this summer. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be tough sledding for Ryan Preece here. We'll wrap up, Ryan, with a dark horse discussion. I feel like Josh Berry will be a popular dark horse to circle this week. He's run so well the last few weeks. You mentioned all of his past historical success at New Hampshire. So besides Josh Berry, where do you want to go with dark horses? Because I'm having a hard time finding one. Like Richmond last Saturday night was super chalky. It felt like it was Penske, Gibbs, and Hendrick taking up all the top 10 positions all night long, plus Berry. Throw Berry in there. So who do you got? Who is a driver that we haven't really talked about yet who might surprise folks this weekend?
Well, it's been a while, but it's one that, for people who watch this preview every week, we used to talk about him all the time in this section, and we're going back to Carson Hocevar.
Okay.
And that beautiful pink car with those big old lips on the front of it so he can just kiss everyone when he passes them. I don't know. I mean, things were trending up for him, I feel like, on this track type to start the year. 20th at Phoenix, 17th at Martinsville, 13th at North Wilkesboro, and then the last 2 times out, just disaster. But yeah. I think he was due. He had that streak of just nothing going wrong after last year where like everything went wrong all the time, and he was documenting that. So maybe he was just due for a little regression here. but maybe he gets back on the horse. I mean, he finished top 5 in both stages last year and then settled for an 11th place finish. I thought that was very impressive. And when you watch the race back, he looked very good. And then look at like Michael McDowell, his teammate, his first year in Spire, he comes out and gets a top 10. One funny thing I dug up on McDowell, I just thought this was funny. Sidetrack real quick. It's crazy how much experience he has here too. So if you can bounce anything off anyone, maybe talks to McDowell. He's been racing in New Hampshire since 2008, and he was in such crap equipment to start his career that in the first 12 races he had at New Hampshire, the car failed on him 10 times, couldn't even finish. But then you look like he starts to gain some traction. He goes to front row. He's got 7 races there. One was Spire in his last 8. He has 5 top 20s, and most recently moves to Spire and finishes top 10. So that makes me think, all right, well, maybe Spire does have something here. If Hocevar is finishing both stages top 5 last year, and then McDowell too I think he started 10th or around there, and then he ends up finishing 8th. Maybe they can bring something here. And what I really like though is watching the race back. If you watch Hocevar making passes, running multiple lanes, that's why I think he's kind of my main dark horse here. He's going to go out early in qualifying, but I think they can bring enough speed where I don't think he starts buried. I think he can bring speed, qualify well, and run well on Sunday. So I'll plant my flag on Hocevar having a strong run.
Those are some great points about 2 of the Spire cars for sure there. So a couple of options. And as far as options, we know versatility is key when trying to make passes. And you're right, Hocevar looked extremely versatile in this race 1 year ago. Ryan, awesome stuff. As always, really appreciate your time. Fans, as you know, Ryan's work can be found at wintherace.info. That enhanced loop data tool, I use it every single week. It's one of the most fun and most intuitive racing stat tools on the internet that I've found. So it's a super cool device I encourage you all to check out. And Ryan, I know you guys do the draft every Wednesday night. Give us your quick elevator pitch. What can fans expect from the show?
Yeah, we'll draft 1 driver from 8 different teams and then a bonus driver from any team that'll earn 1.25x their NASCAR points. So we use their real scoring. The winner will pick a charity, Win the Race donates to it. So it's always for a good cause every week. But it's a lot of data, a lot of stats, and you have a great shot at hearing us talk about your favorite drivers. So tune in. Hope you enjoy it.
Absolutely. That's on the Win the Race YouTube channel. Link is down in the description. Appreciate you all tuning in. Ryan, appreciate your time as always, and we'll talk again next week.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy Loudon.